We're back with News Talk. I'm joined by newly elected Congressman John Mannion. Congressman, great to see you as always. Thank you for making the trek up the hill today.
Absolutely, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And now let's get right into it. Obviously, we're still in the first 38 days of the second Trump presidency, and it's been a bit of whiplash effect. We've seen some very alarming actions, as some would say. How concerned are you by what we've seen in the first month?
Well, first of all, it's really an honor for me to represent the region, a place I've lived in my whole life, and I take my job very seriously. You know, I think a lot of people are cutting through what is a distraction and what is real, and I'll say this, we are all for, and I'm the strongest proponent of making sure that we make our government more efficient. I do believe that there's ways to do it, and what we're seeing coming out of the president and Elon Musk are acts that are unconstitutional. Some of those things have been brought to the court, and the majority of them they have won. So, you know, we need to engage with the government at times, but these sweeping changes that have occurred and taking really a big swath of some of our agencies out where people need them. I spoke with a veteran today who was engaging with the Veterans Administration. They need a procedure. That procedure has been delayed. And for the people who are really good employees, there are neighbors that are, you know, with a very broad brush just eliminated. Doesn't make government more efficient. In fact, it makes it less efficient. And, you know, we're going to continue to work to find common ground to make government more efficient and services be better.
Now, a lot of folks at home are watching and wondering, well, what can we do? Kind of a helpless feeling almost, as it would appear. What can they do? Well,
listen, people did not vote, even if they voted for the current president, they didn't vote for pain and they didn't vote for uncertainty. And when we talk about this budget that's coming up, we've already voted on a preliminary budget resolution that's going to have major cuts to Medicaid, major cuts to SNAP benefits. It's going to impact so many. It's going to impact veterans, older people, young individuals with disabilities. So, you know, I encourage them to be informed. First of all, I'm here today to try to inform people about some of those challenges. They should express their concerns to their elected officials. And, you know, another thing is, regardless of what their advocacy group might be, it might be the League of Conservation Voters, it might be a union, it might be a political party, I encourage them to take a more active role and have their voice elevated. But people are really scared is the word that I hear almost more than anyone, and that's what uncertainty brings. And you know, I'm here to reassure them that I'm fighting for them, that we want transparency, and we want what's best for this country in the long term and the short term.
And you mentioned the budget the other day and the effects it would have on folks here. Another big thing coming out of the White House is these tariffs. One I noticed the other day, I believe it was the tariff on China that would put a little more tariff on semiconductors. And that's big for when you think about central New York and the Mohawk Valley. You have Micron coming to Clay. You have Wolfspeed just down the road in Marcy. So these are really going to be potentially large impacts.
Right. I've met with representatives from Wolfspeed and Micron, and you know, in Central New York and the Mohawk Valley, we have positioned ourselves so well for projects like this because of our great schools, our great higher ed institutions, and our great workforce. So, you know, legislation around that semiconductor space was done because we need to make sure we're making semiconductor chips here in the United States for our own national security, and it's good for our economy. This legislation was negotiated. We had it done on a bipartisan basis, all levers of government. People work together, and that's how people work here. We know we've got Democrats and Republicans and independents. Let's do what's best for the region and move forward. So this is a bill that's already signed into law. Dollars are appropriated, and we want to make sure that these projects come to complete fruition because they're a big part of our economy here in the region.
Absolutely. How can folks contact you if they need to get in touch?
Well, I really appreciate that. Certainly if someone has lost their job, if they're a government employee or they're a veteran, they work in a capacity where they're unsure if their agency is going to lose funding as these sweeping cuts have happened and then sort of the uncertainty around the freeze, they should please contact mannion.house.gov. It's a great resource. Of course, we're having lots of calls and emails come into the office, and my team is doing a great job, but that website is a tool that everybody can use, and it makes sure that it's in front of me and in front of my team.
All right, Congressman John Mannion, thank you again so much.
Thank you so much,
for coming
Ben.
up. We'll be back right after the break.